So, are you one of the many people who thinks that relationships are natural? Well, to an extent, you're correct, but that doesn't mean that they are going to run on their own without any thought to it. And just because they're natural doesn't necessarily mean they're easy. So, I'm Leslie Dories, your marriage coach, creator of the Hero Husband Project, and owner of Foundations Coaching. And I was working with a couple many years ago, and one day she came in, and her husband wasn't there yet, and she says, I had an epiphany. And I went, great, what was it? And she said, relationships aren't natural. And I kind of smiled and I said, well, where did you get the idea that they were? Now, the thing is that we meet people, we spend some time with them, we decide whether or not we want to spend more time with them. And those things that help us determine it is, do I feel heard? Do I feel connected? Do I like this person? Um, Human beings by nature are relational creatures. We are not meant to live in isolation. We need interaction. We need assistance from other people. There have been some studies that have actually been done that have shown how important human connection is. Lots of study, unfortunately, this wasn't a study, this was a real life event where children had been left in orphanages and they received adequate food, adequate clothing, adequate shelter. What they didn't receive was physical contact. And these children literally died. There's actually a term, it was called failure to thrive. And so in this case, relationships are natural. We do need these interactions, but just because they're natural doesn't mean that there isn't anything we can do about it. Or to be helpful about it. Breathing is natural, digestion is natural, but sometimes those things go a little haywire. We get a cold, my nose is stuffed up, I can't breathe, or I have asthma, or I have some kind of virus that wrecks my digestive system. We can get out of kilter, and you can get out of kilter with your relationships as well. Now, if I'm out of kilter in a lot of my relationships, I can choose to end the relationship. If somebody in my life has, maybe an acquaintance or somebody who I'm not really connected to or don't have to have any connection to, does something that I don't like, I can separate myself from them. And no harm, no foul. But if I'm in a relationship that matters, my marriage, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my sisters, these relationships aren't necessarily disposable. And there are things that you can do to make those relationships better. And the question you have to ask is, how important is this relationship to me? Am I willing to be uncomfortable to make this relationship better? And what happens with a lot of marriages is things start to go a little haywire. You don't know what to do, so you pull back. And the more distance that you put between you and your partner, the harder it is to get things back on track. One of my mentors, his name's Terry Real, talks about, well, he's not the only one, but we talk about relationships being a pattern of connection, disconnection, and repair. And if we don't repair those disconnections, then we get further and further apart, more stuff gets caught up in between us, and it makes it harder. We might go through the day-to-day motions. We might be doing all of the practical things like getting the kids to soccer practice or to school, or you go to work or I go to the grocery store. We're having, the relationship is at a surface level, functional level, but it's not the deep connection that you really want with your partner. So as I said before, relationships up to a point are natural. But once we run into a challenge in that relationship, you have to make a decision. You have to decide, am I going to move forward with this, or am I going to end this relationship? And I'm going to tell you, if you have children together, you can't really end your relationship. You can change the relationship, you can end your partnership, but you can't walk away from this person totally. And a lot of times people think that just quote unquote ending the relationship, getting divorced is going to solve the problem. And what it actually does is it creates new problems. It may not actually ever get rid of the ones that you had that led to the divorce, but you're now creating new ones because you now have these additional challenges to it. And so the best thing is to learn what makes relationships work and figure out how to apply it in your relationship. And that's actually what I do. So if you're struggling in any area of your relationship, now there may be things that are unresolvable, but those are actually few and far between. Whereas if you actually knew what the dynamics of a relationship really are and how you can make this one work, because let me tell you, if you're married, every relationship you've been in before this one has ended. And so how are you going to help make this one work when you've got when you're coming to it with the same thoughts, experiences, skill set, beliefs? And some of those thought processes, skill sets, and beliefs are helpful and other ones aren't. But if you keep doing the ones that aren't, you're going to end up with the same result, which is no relationship. So if your relationship is important to you, I encourage you to learn about it. You can give me a call. You can send me an email. You can send me a direct message. You can keep listening and watching my videos. You can subscribe to this channel and you can share it with your friends, which I would love, because what we know what makes relationships work. And when you're willing to learn that information and apply it, you're going to make your life so much easier. And what we know is that the overall level of happiness in your life is a function of the quality of your relationships. So give me a call, 919-924-0463. Send me an email, Leslie, Lesli, at foundationscoachingnc.com. That's FOUNDATIONS, coaching, and as in Nancy, C as in Charlie.com. DM me, put a comment down below asking me to contact you, whatever it is. But you want to take relationships just from being good enough to being something that you really want to be a part of. So hopefully you found that interesting. Love to hear your comments. And until next week, stay loving.